first off, how's practice going for that?
Practice going good. We took a little time out from tournaments to focus mainly on practice. Obviously, with losing artists, trying to figure out where everyone sits with like all the different agents, like it takes some time, a lot longer than we expected, to be honest, because a lot of people were juggling different agents because we just wanted to try and like find the right fit for us now, like who's going to be like the main operator player, who's going to play what. So it took some time to figure out, but I feel like we've done that now and we're starting practicing it, and things are going like back to how they should.
Now, of course, Artis left the team. Artis himself, an incredible operator player. We're seeing a lot of double operator in general. How has your team, maybe first off, received this double operator meta or operator meta in general, and how strong do you think this is?
Well, I feel like the double opera meta is not as like strong or not as used in EU compared to NA. I feel like it's mainly just one in Europe that we're facing at the moment, and I feel like we've just got like a good mindset towards it. Like we know we need to use our utility. Like you can't just use the standard CS stuff like a smoke or a flash. Like you have other types of utility that you can use to combat the AWPers, and you just need to be smart about it. Like I see a lot of people on like Twitter making excuses like, oh, the operator's too strong, but it's like you need to look at it a different point of view. You need to like, okay, what can we do to combat it? Because I feel like people are just like using it as a scapegoat. Oh, operators are too strong. Like, what can we do? You know?
ScreaM, generally speaking, has not been an entry player through the early stages of the beta. Now, towards the end of the beta, and possibly also moving towards you, he has taken up these Reyna roles, for instance. And how has that soul searching period happened, and what kind of adjustments did you have to make?
Well, when we first started playing with ScreaM, when we played like we finished off Take the Throne, we lost to Hip Hip Hip, and then we lost to Party Parrots, which I mean, people say is a dip in form, but I feel like that's way too far looked into. Like we lost to the second and third best team in Europe at the time, with zero practice, with a person that we've never really played before, and without like an operator. So it's kind of rough. Like obviously can't make excuses. Like they were better than us, and that's fair enough. Like Party Parrots and Hip 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 when they were playing were like really good. At the time, we had like ScreaM on Reyna because like our mindset was, well, if he can get a kill, then heal himself. You know, he can get another kill and get another kill. Like he's the best aimer in Valorant in the world. So like you want him to be able to take as many fights as possible. But I feel like we were lacking utility with the use of Arena because obviously the flashes, I feel like they're not as strong anymore because people can just instantly shoot them, especially if you try and flash more than one person. It doesn't really have that much use. So we're changing champs. Obviously, I'm not going to say who. We'd be surprised when we play, but we're changing him off Reyna to a different champion. And yeah, we're just going to see how it goes from there.
Sweet. Of course, we'd we'd love to know just how you reassembled these roles, but yeah, the part of the whole thing is also having that element of surprise, right? So maybe while we're on the screen route, of course, like you guys all came from CS, and especially early in CS, but also at certain points in the game's history, ScreaM has been a top tier player, like possibly top 5, top 10 HLTV.org rankings. Have there ever been like fanboy moments playing with him?
I think yeah, because obviously I mean it is ScreaM at the end of the day. Like everyone knew him. Like when the first thing I watched from CS was his frag movie, like in 2014 or something like that. So it's like, whoa, okay, right. Like I'm I'm in a game with ScreaM. I'm playing with ScreaM here. It's like whoa, but I feel like it's starting to wear off a little bit. Obviously, it's still like okay, right, we're playing with ScreaM. It's like surreal because you watch this guy play, and he's like unlike anyone else in the world. Like his aim is just crazy. Like it's crazy good. It makes it look so effortless as well, and it's just, like amazing to watch. Like I'll die, then I'll spec him, and it's like wow, okay, it's like watching a frag movie 24/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like with time, obviously, it's gonna not like wear off. That sounds kind of bad, but like like we're gonna look at it more as like you know, ScreaM like our friend, not ScreaM like the person that we've looked up to. You know, if that makes sense. Because I remember speaking to Smuya about her when he went to Big and like he was in a house, with Tabson next, and he was like, "Oh my god, that's Tabson! Oh my god, that's next!" But like, his teammates with him though, so I feel like it's kind of got that novelty still.
Absolutely. Has there anything where you think, okay, this guy brings also maybe qualities outside the game that you think he has picked up during his Counter-Strike career that he brings to the team?
Yeah, obviously, like he's literally a super nice guy, literally like the nicest guy. Like that helps. He's always like calm, like he's never getting mad. He's always like, laughing, having a good time. So it like brings us like a positive mood. And as well, just like his experience from CS in general, like this guy's played at, like so many top tier events, so many top tier teams, and it brings us like a lot of experience. Like he's giving us suggestions on what we should do, like giving ideas all the time, just like we're open to learn. Obviously, this guy's got a lot more experience than us, and like we're open to it, and like we want to learn. So from that point of view, it's been brilliant playing with him.
Amazing. So you mentioned you already did the slight comparison by saying that ScreaM is the best aimer in the world. Now, have you looked a lot at North American Valorant?
Yeah, I watch like the VODs and like the Twitch streams. Like obviously get some ideas. Like I look at TSM quite a bit, T1 as well, especially on Ascent because we were struggling on that map at some point. I like the idea of how TSM play it with the Brimstone and an Omen. I think that's quite gives like a good take on it because I feel like the 5 smokes in that map, especially on T side, you can take a lot of control with. And like T1, I was specifically looking at like Brax for Omen plays or like AZK for Breach plays. So yeah, I'm quite familiar with the top NA scene.
Yeah, they have a very interesting default T1 that is. They've recently sort of rethought it, but initially like the very safe contesting of orbs almost every single round was definitely interesting because I didn't see that particular like hyper focus on these ultimate resources in that way. How do you think about this? Because this is obviously like a game system that wasn't part of CS:GO. How big is ult advantage generally?
I think it's big, but I feel like it's not really being used as much. I remember T1 being the first team to do it, and I spoke to our coach Liga, but I was like, okay, this can be like really big. Like you guarantee more ults per half, which is like a big advantage. So you can try and guarantee more rounds because obviously, depending on who you give it to, say you give it to like a Raze, you guarantee like an entry frag or like a way into a site if he has an ult or if she has an ult. Sorry. So the more you get the ult on her, the more chance you have of winning more rounds and stuff. So I think it will be something that comes like more meta in the future because the game right now is still developing how it plays. Like especially on eco rounds, I know for us, like we focus on trying to take the orbs, like not allowing them to like get the free orbs when we can like contest it easy. But I think on gun rounds as well, it'd be a bigger fight for the orbs in the future.
Yeah. Um, Now, of course, the obvious question then is if you've looked at the TSMs and T1s of the world, how do you think that top European teams, including yourself, would match up against them?
It's hard to say really. Like I feel like when we win in everything in the beta, we're the best in the world, beat everyone. But now it's like we've lost, like we've been brought back down to earth. We're not unbeatable. Uh, I'm not sure. The play style looks completely different. I feel like we'd struggle versus these NA teams because they're a lot more aggressive. A lot more free flowing from what I've seen, and especially watching like Wardell. That guy looks crazy on Jet. Like he'll just go for every aggressive peak, and I feel like he'll catch us like off guard a lot because that's not something we're really used to in Europe. So I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to wait and see. Like hopefully we get to play like these American teams sometime in the future. That would be like really sick as like something that I really want to try and prove ourselves against them.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And it's also interesting to see, for instance, someone like Cloud9 doing well, who I wouldn't say their success uh, mostly came back on the back of tens, just dropping 30 plus bombs every map, because also recently some of the other guys have stepped up. But how do you conceive of generally, is this a game that's, at least in this meta, is going to be revolve around one superstar? And him giving him the resources, or is this really already at a level where we're playing team fight or team focused executes that could counter individual skill to a large degree?
Yeah, I think definitely in this game, like once people get, like all the tactics and like these set rounds ready, it will, eliminate the ability to have like one player just popping off all the time. Like we did the same, for example, versus Prodigy, like a mixed world one time on Bind, because he was like playing Viper with one way smoke. So we just like, okay, right, he's doing this. We changed our entire comp to combat him, and like we win the game from it. So it's like stuff like that will happen, especially right now. I feel like a lot of the people who pop off individually are Jet players. Like, you got Wardell, Tens, Mixwell. And I feel like right now it's still catching people off guard, like with the plays they're doing. But once like you're ready for it, you're like, okay, he has his ult, he has his dash, then you prepare for it more, and it won't be as useful because they'll dash into sight and you'll have two people holding for him, because you're expecting it. But right now it's still catching people off guard. So with Jet as like a team player, it's not really team play; it's completely individual. So like once more practice, the game develops more, it'll be less and less useful, I think.
Yeah. A large part of what we've seen in terms of like the Jet meta that a lot of people seem to be copying now is this very aggressive dashing into opponents, almost killing them mid-air with a shotgun, with a judge specifically. Do you think that is a fine strategy? Is it possibly overpowered? Does it need changes?
I think the judge is definitely overpowered. That gun is unbelievable, and our coach Sliggy tells us that every day that we should use it more. But it's like, I don't know, stuff like that. It's kind of like gimmicky, you know. Like you can, I see Mixwell do like this play. It's a good play, but it's like it's kind of gimmicky. He dashes across to lamps on bind from short with a shorty, and like gets in their face, like gets up closer. Guy, like it's a good play because he's using abilities well. But I feel like once people clock on to like stuff like this, it'd be less and less powerful. Like as time goes on, but still, like I said, now still catches people off guard.
Yeah. Speaking of Mixwell, of course, G2 also as probably one of the first major organizations in Europe have picked up a lineup. How do you evaluate their skill level? Do you think you have a chance this weekend against them?
I think definitely got a chance. I wouldn't say we got a chance. We always got to go in believing that we can win. Obviously, the really individually skilled players, all of them. I'm not too sure who's in-game leading on them. I was away this weekend, so I didn't get to watch the games yet. I have to watch them back another time. But yeah, I feel like individually they're all really sick. Like Mixwell's really good, Artist, Piff, Patitek's really good. I'm not too sure on how they'll play as a team. Like once they start practicing a lot and stuff like that, because we've not actually practiced them yet. We wanted to say about stuff at the tournament tomorrow or the day after. I can't remember. Sometime soon. But yeah, definitely stand a chance. We've got to go in believing that we can win. Obviously, a lot of people are doubting us. We lost to the second and third team in Europe with a new player with zero practice, and now everyone's like forgot about Fish 1, 2, 3. So hopefully we can come back, do well, win this. Hopefully, then like just prove everyone wrong.
Are there any special feelings towards artists in that team when you face him?
Obviously, want to beat him. Like he left our team, man. Like gotta be trying to beat him. Like, well, no, honestly, I feel like I've known artists for a long time. I think maybe 4 years now. I've like been in and out of teams with him, like in CS and stuff. Like, I can't hate the guy. Like, obviously, I was sad and like disappointed that he left because obviously we had something really good going on here. But it is what it is. Like, he got a really good offer and just had to take it. So yeah, we just want to really want to beat him. That's all I can say.
Artists took that offer, and there are not that many in EU. How do you evaluate that situation? And do you think maybe like European orcs especially are either sleeping on Valorant or on the talent in the scene?
I don't think they're sleeping on talent or like sleeping in general. I just think they're just trying to be calculated. They're like a slow process because we've spoken to orgs before, and it's like they don't want to rush, which makes perfect sense. Like it's a big investment to start giving players like a full team a salary, then like say a week or two later they've disbanded or like they're not good or they're not winning tournaments. So it's like they just want to get all the information available to them and make like a really calculated decision. Whereas the NA scene as well, sorry, that's full with a lot of like ex-professional players from other games, like mainly CS. Like you got TSM full XCS, T1X full CS, Gen G all played CS. All these types of players have like been in big orgs before. Whereas in Europe, it's like Fish 1, 2, 3. Who are they? You know, like all these kind of people that have not really been like in that big teams before. So I guess they're more like antsy to going on us.
Absolutely, yeah. Then perhaps as a last point, you arguably joined the Valorant scene at a very good point in your career. Do you have any thoughts on your expectations for this scene to develop? Is there any fear of this not developing fast enough, especially maybe in the context of Europe? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I left CS:GO behind because I felt like I didn't have like the love for the game anymore. I gave it my final go, like an international team, like me and Ardis, who was in like a boot camp in Bulgaria. We're playing with people, you know, this was like our biggest offer to date, I think it was. So like, yeah, probably the best team that I was in on paper. Didn't perform that well, and it was like, right, okay, Valorant's coming out. I want more than this, you know. I wanted more than just to be like on like a decent team that no one's ever heard of. I wanted to be like on a top tier team, like going to all these events and stuff. Obviously, with COVID, that's like slowed it down. But right now with Valorant, I mean, it couldn't have gone any better from what I think. Like we're in such a good position. You know, we get to play with like ScreaM at the moment, so it's just kind of like this would have never happened in CS. So yeah, I have no regrets for anything. I feel like the scene will develop. It's just going to develop over time, but I do believe it'll be like bigger in America because obviously, like you know, they started earlier playing with the devs. They've got like all the big orgs in there already, but I think Europe will be there. It'll just take a little more time.
What do you think of these tournament formats, and are they doing the right thing and doing a lot of invitationals, influencer events, and now slowly it's opening up to open qualifiers? Do you think that's the way in the future?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think should be fully open. Or I mean, I don't know. It depends. It's like a lot of good teams can lose like a best of one to some upcoming teams, which I guess is like it's fair for them because obviously they won. But it's like, say teams with organizations. Say, imagine if TSM have to qualify for every single event they play. Like it would just be like super long on them, but when like obviously everyone can agree like TSM should be invited, like stuff like that. I feel like it should be a mix of like invites and like open qualifier. I don't think it should be fully invites because you know that brings away you know the opportunity for some people, which is like a bad thing. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be more like influencer events anymore. I think that time has passed, which is like a good thing. Even though I was fortunate enough.
All right, thank you a lot for taking the time. Do you have anything else to share? Anything that's burning?
Not really. Just thanks everyone who's been supporting us. You know, it's been like crazy actually having like people, you know, like messages like wanting us to do well, especially from the UK. Like, obviously there's a four of us from the UK now. Like, we want to still like carry on and build. You know, hopefully give people a UK team to cheer about in an FPS game.
True, very true. Thank you for your time.
Alright, man.